all excited to be here and to celebrate one another.
Investigators believe the target was last weekend's Phoenix Pride Festival and Parade. 17-year-old Marvin Jalo now faces 1 count of terrorism and 1 count of conspiracy to commit terrorism.
These are serious charges. They do come with mandatory prison sentences. And also, he's in on $1 million cash-only bond.
Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell told us her agency, Buckeye and Peoria Police, and the FBI acted quickly to make the arrest. What can you tell me about the suspect?
He is homophobic in his philosophy, if you will. He definitely took steps in the process of putting together something that would act as an explosive. So we know that he was watching, for example, beheading videos.
According to court documents, Jalo took part in conversations on social media platform chat rooms and stated he could bomb the 2024 Pride Parade and take over the USA. He wrote about using jars and satchels of explosives at the event, then using a remote-control bomb drone to finish anything standing. Mitchell says Jalo had actually purchased the explosive precursor chemicals from Amazon.
This obviously is an extreme situation where you not only have, talking about wanting to do something, but also taking steps in the process of carrying through that.
In May, the FBI issued an alert showing federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies believed that foreign terrorist organizations and their sympathizers may have been targeting Pride events across the country.
Folks that are aspiring terrorists are getting younger and younger.
Seamus Hughes tracks extremism across the country and recently wrote an article titled, "The Kids Are Not All Right." He says young people are increasingly recruited by extremist groups, and the internet is their biggest recruiting tool.
You're talking about individuals that are just forming kind of the process of who they are and trying to make sense of the world. And they're finding that in an echo chamber online that says that their extremist beliefs are okay.
According to court paperwork, Marvin Jalo is communicating with other people across the country, but his is the only arrest that we know of at this time. Now, organizers of the Phoenix Pride event are holding a news conference in about 25 minutes, and we'll have more on that throughout the evening. I'm Morgan Lowe for Arizona's Family Investigation.